Hello, good evening. Let's have us a little bit of Supremacius. Hello, Rosh Hashanah. So we mentioned that the viceroy, second in command to the king, was looking for the lost princess. He found her in the domain of the not good, and that followed in by two periods, whereas she told him, you have to go, you have to wait for a year and long for me. And the last day, don't eat and don't sleep. And, he ate. And she said, okay, you can't take me out. The second time she says, okay, you can eat, but just don't sleep and don't drink any wine so you don't fall asleep. And sure enough, he passed by a stream that looked red and smelled like wine. So he told his servant, which is his seichel, he says, look, it's a curious thing when he dipped his stick in the stream. Just taste it, just to make sure, just not to find out whether it's wine or water. And he fell asleep for 70 years, which we said it's represents all the 70 facets of the Torah. In other words, totally out of it. And during that time, armies came along, and a limo came, and the princess came down from the limo, from the carriage, whatever you want, and sat by him and recognized him. It's very interesting. It's very interesting that in both places, when she sees him in the new surroundings, new conditions, first time is in the castle. And the second time here, when she stops the carriage and she gets down to him, it says something very, very, very interesting. He says here, he says, after they went a carriage and a covered wagons, there said the king's daughter. And he says like this, she stood next to him and went down and sat next to him and recognized him. So this particular sentence seems to be, the syntax is opposite, is inside out. She stood or she stopped next to him, and she went down from her carriage, and she sat next to him, and she recognized him. It should have been that she saw him from the carriage, she recognized him, so she stopped and she went down, she sat next to him. But that's not what Rabbeinu says. It says she stood next to him, she went down, she sat next to him, and then she recognized him. So this is one interesting incident. The same thing in the very beginning, when he first finds her in that place of the not good. It says like this. Later, the queen glanced and saw someone lying in a corner. She recognized him and rose from the throne and went to him and touched him and asked him, do you recognize me? He said, yes, I know who you are. You are the king. You are the king's daughter who was lost. So we see here that the queen glanced and she saw someone in a corner. And then she recognized him, and then she got up from her throne and she went to him and asked, do you recognize me? He said, yeah, I know who you are. You are the king's daughter who got lost. This is when he is in full cognition. He is totally aware. He's coming to look for her. He went into the castle looking for her. He was there, and he was lying in the corner. When he was lying in the corner, the queen glanced. She saw him. She recognized him. And then she came to him and asked him, do you recognize me? But when he falls from all the 70 facets of the Torah, as we said before, and he fell as he was asleep, she tried to wake him up and she couldn't. We said that she stood next to him, she went down, she stopped next to him, she sat next to him, recognized him only at the end. Rabbeinu says in Torah Vav, which is the quintessential Elul Torah, and Rabbeinu says that the prime prerequisite of in Avodas Hashem is to be 100% proficient in handling yourself when you're ascending, when you're going up, and to be very proficient on how to handle yourself when the dips come, when you're in the valleys. And Rabbeinu calls it Bekias. Bekias means proficiency. You have to be proficient. There has to be a pro. And he says, basically, what it is what do you have to perfect? What kind of expertise do you need? How do you handle, ascension? How do you handle falling, free falling? So Rabbeinu says that the thing that you need to be totally proficient at is when you're going up, when things are going well, you should realize that Kadosh Baruch Hu is way ahead of you. I mean, way far from you. You haven't even started to serve Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's counterintuitive because you find that you can daven. You find that you're smooth, you're learning Torah, you feel, you're with it. It's like you feel good about yourself. You feel good about your spiritual endeavors. This is the time when you have to be very careful to understand that you ain't done nothing yet. On the other hand, Rabbeinu is saying that when a person is in a free fall, and the natural tendency is to feel worthless, to feel like a failure, to feel like a loser. Rabbeinu says that the most important attribute then is to remember and to know that Kadosh Baruch Hu is with you, and He's by you, and He wants you just the way you are. Of course, He wants you to be better, but He wants you just the way you are. And He's holding your coat and cheering you on to become better, but He wants you just the way you are. The way a parent, has a child, the child has difficulties. If the parent is thinking about himself, he can get very frustrated. Why would have to get stuck with a son or a daughter that are, that leave whatever, a lot or a little to be desired. But if the parent is actually thinking about the child, then first of all, he accepts him or her, even if he disapproves of their behavior. You're my child, and I love you, and all is well. And but you understand about Hakadosh Baruch Hu, it's even deeper than that. Because Baruch Hu always thinks about you. You are the first priority of Hakadosh Baruch Hu all the time. But whereas a parent is being faced by what they call fait accompli, that's it. It's done. This is who your child is. This is who your wife is, and so forth and so on. By Hakadosh Baruch Hu, every single step of your journey is tailor-made for you, for where you are in life right now. You could say that in a sense, this is like a Waze, Google Maps, that it tells you, listen, go here and 300 meters at the roundabout, turn left, take the third exit. Okay. Let's say you don't take the third exit, you continue straight. What does it do? You don't have to heck with you. That's it. I'm not doing it for you anymore. You want to do it your own way? Go ahead, do it your own. It doesn't do that. It makes this funny noise like in Hebrew they call it mechashev mastul mechadash, recalculating the route. And now it's going to take you on a different route, maybe longer, probably longer, and a roundabout, and then we'll get you to where you need to go. Because Baruch Hu, it is always like that. You have your own choice. Because Baruch Hu leads you to where you need to be. By Kadosh Baruch Hu, there's no mistake, even when you supposedly make a mistake. Everything is b'hashgacha pratis. That kind of equilibrium, when things go well and when things don't go that well, to be able to flip the switch when things go well, to realize you haven't done anything yet. And when things are, totally out of hand, seemingly out of hand, Kadosh Baruch Hu is with you. This is represented in these two instances. One of them is when he finds her. He made his avodah and he got a result. He found her in the place where she was. And the Shekhinah glanced at him, recognized him. She came over to him. And her question is, do you recognize me? Do you recognize that you haven't done anything yet? Do you realize that you're dealing with the Shekhinah? The minute he says that, in other words, do you recognize that every single step of your life, every single detail in your life, the Shekhinah is there? The Shekhinah is the mother of everything, of anything that is. So the question is not just whether do you recognize the Shekhinah. The question is, does the Shekhinah recognize you? When you do this work, the Shekhinah recognizes you and comes over to you in order to give you a taste of success. Because when you do tshuva and when you start, it doesn't matter whether you're brand new about tshuva or you are from and you're becoming from, or you fell off and you're coming back. It doesn't matter. That's all the time. When you decide that you're going to do the push to get in there, in the beginning, they show you what it is that you're going after. Then it's being taken away. And then, the race, then you're off to the races. But unless you get a glimpse of the beauty of that which you are searching for, you'd never get into it. It's too difficult. So you get a flash, and when you get the flash, you go, wow, all right. Now, when it's taken away, you know what you're going after. So here the Shekhinah recognizes him, and she says, but do you recognize me? Do you realize that everything in your life, whatever it is that will happen to you in your life, whatever happened, whatever will happen, everything is me. He says, yeah, I know. Says, okay, if you know, go ahead, go out, spend a year longing, go through whatever it is. And then when he fails and he falls asleep, and then he falls asleep and falls from all the 70 facets of the Torah. He's outside, he's out there, he's like, he's in spiritual coma. Everything that you have done, any mitzvah that you did in your life, every single dvater that you ever learned, every mitzvah that you did, and every good intention that you had, any kind of thought that, wow, I wish that I would be better, or I could do this, or I could go to Uman, or whatever it is that you want to do. They are bringing the Kodesh Baruch Hu, which is the Shekhinah. Shekhinah means the Kodesh Baruch Hu, the residence, Kodesh Baruch Hu residing. That's the Shekhinah. Kodesh Baruch Hu is residing with you. It brings down to you. The Shekhinah stops, gets off the wagon, comes down, sits down, and recognizes you. What does it mean, recognizes you? Why did it say? It is pulled down to you. The very same way that the Shekhinah is our ultimate goal. Each and every one of us is the ultimate goal of the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah is not complete without you. Simply, the Shekhinah is not complete without you. The same way that you're supposed to be longing for the Shekhinah is actually longing for you. And when the Shekhinah comes to you, it comes to you even though you are totally unconscious, you're in coma spiritually. The Shekhinah is with you, the very same way that his toil actually got the Shekhinah out of the place of the Samach Men, the captivity of the. Now, when you're asleep, when you are, totally out of your whatever, now the Shekhinah is crying for you. And the servant tried to wake him up. And just what I'm trying to wake him up is this, your seichel is trying to wake you up. He says, listen, life has an end. There's expiration date. You may know what the date is, but there is an expiration date. And it's some kind of we all know this, but it's a theory. It's like it's something that we would rather not think about. In fact, when Chas v'Chalila there's somebody who is very, very ill, especially when he has a catastrophic disease, people refrain from meeting that person, going to visit him or whatever, because it's a party pooper. It kills the illusion that there's a life, there's greatness, there's nothing. There's no other purpose in this world except to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is it. So the Seichel can tell this to you until the cows come home. It doesn't wake you up. Then the Shekhinah tries to wake you up and is not able to wake you up. Then the Shekhinah laments for you. She's crying over you. All the wrong turns, all the mischances. And because of the tears of the Shekhinah, he wakes up. Same way the Shekhinah came out of captivity because of what he went through, even though when you're asking for, the proof is in the pudding, he failed every time. But this Yiddishkeit is not a business of results. It's a business of effort. And he put in the work. He put in the work. That's it. That's always necessary. And when you fall down and you feel like and get nowhere, the Shekhinah is crying for you. The Shekhinah stops by you, sits by you, and recognizes where you are. Before, in the very beginning, she asked me, do you recognize me? Do you recognize that every single thing in your life is me? Now the Shekhinah is recognizing the other way around. They should know where you are, what you're going through. This is what Torah Rav says, Kadosh Baruch Hu, when you are in your downtime, this is the time where you need to know that Hashem is with you and is by you, and he stops and he comes and he sits next to you, tries to wake you up, cries for you. And with that schus you wake up. So Mimela, when one makes his Vedas, which between you and me, that's the nuclear weapon of Avodas Hashem. This is it. I mean, a samurai had all kinds of things, whatever it is, but his sword and his bow were, his main weapons. This is it. Our sword and bow is tefillah and bakosha, as Rabbeinu says in Torah Beis. So the first thing that you need to do, that you need to know is, when you go into his Beidos, ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where am I in the world? Am I up? Am I down? What do I see? What don't I see? What should I be seeing and I don't? And then apply. If you see, like, wow, I understand this and this and this and this, you should, and then, okay, now I need to know that Ribono Shel Olam show me that I haven't even started yet. And if you go to his Beidos and you can't even open your mouth, you go, oh, okay. Okay, so I'll start. Ribono Shel Olam, thank you, really, thank you so much. Thank you, Ribono Shel Olam. But then you cannot think about anything else to say. It's almost like, the child in the bar mitzvah, saying, I want to thank my mother and my father and my this, for raising me up, whatever it is, and then 3 minutes and you're done. You're asking for this one, for that one, for this and for that. 2 minutes, you're done. What now? You want to spend half an hour, whatever it is, and you have nothing to say. Anything, and your mind is drifting off. And he says, okay, I really want to talk about it. I don't know what to say. Please give me more to say. Give me the words and so on and so on. Whatever it is that you merit to say, because you feel like, here I spent, I don't know, half an hour, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is that you do. And basically, it's like flying at night over a very sparsely populated desert or area. You know, everything is black, and every once in a while there's a little dot of light, a little dot of light here, a little dot. You know, just you spend this whole time of his Benados, and really you only manage to maybe speak a minute or two, and then you went into, you know, I don't know, brain freeze. Then you manage another few seconds, and you should know that this is as Benados, because Baruch is by you. The difficulties, the blackness, the opaqueness that you know sort of like sits on your mind, that's a Kadosh Baruch Hu. It's you from the dark, for you to understand that those two words that you're able to say are more precious than 1,000 words that you say when you feel like, wow, you really been the godless and with expanded consciousness, and you could just talk and you go there and you can pour your heart out to Kadosh Baruch Hu, and everything is going tremendous. The whole little dots that you didn't give up, that you don't give up, and not only this, not only that you didn't give up, but you ask Kadosh Baruch Hu your will to appreciate these nekudas. This is what is going to pull you through. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu listens to everything that you ask, absolutely everything. Okay, I think that we will stop here. That Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bless us with Ksira V'Chsira Teva and Akid Geben Shtio. And I hope, maybe I'll still be around on Thursday. Maybe not, I don't know. Of course, I'll let you know with an email. But for the Likutei Moharan, maybe I'll already go on my way to Uman. I don't know. I hope things to